WhiskyJason here, whiskey from the viewpoint of an American over here in Germany, often tasting rare and exotic whiskeys. Welcome to the third of the three different new bottling expressions from Glenglassaugh. They were bought up from Billy Walker, who bought it 3 years before that, prior to a different group. 7 years ago, Glenglassaugh, Benriach, and Glendronach have been now for 7 years in the possession of Brown-Forman. All right, so you see the nice little mint-flavored, mint-colored caps here. So we have the Portsoy, the only so far peated whiskey in the new three expressions. We used to have Torfa, now we have this. Sherry, interesting enough, is firstly listed. I don't know if that means predominantly, but it'd be great to know. Bourbon and port, 49.1% to Whiskybase number 233638. So Sandon I really liked with 55.5% ABV. Could be a tiny little bit less expensive, but I say that in almost every video. The 12-year-old Glenglassaugh, the cheapest of them all. So we're basically here at 46, we're here at 50, and now we're at 55. You don't need to buy this, in my opinion. Buy the other two, and you're going to have a nice whiskey that is not peated, and you have one that is lightly peated. That's what we need. So what am I going to compare it to? You're going to laugh, but I'm going to compare it to a Talisker Port Ree. So this is 45.8%. This is 49.1%. Over here in Germany at the moment, I can get this still for under 40 euros. Now the new bottle design has just come out, and it's going to be around 50 euros in the future, unfortunately. So Diageo is, they're jacking up the prices of everything, Talisker and most of their products. And so this actually will be 55. This is going to be 50. So why not? Now the bottle here of the Glenglassaugh is a little bit more, I'm going to use the word modern and stylish. I do like this bottle, all right? So the more I look at it, the more I enjoy it. This is the old bottle. The new bottle looks like the new 10-year-old. So it's just lighter a little bit. I hardly notice any difference here. The bottom of the glass is thinner and so on. I think they saved like 17% of the weight, and therefore, I don't know, more than 20% of the CO2 footprint on the bottles, but all right. So this is chill filtered. This is colored. Unfortunately, there's no mention anywhere, please change that, Brown-Forman, of this being natural color. I assume it is because you have three different bottlings here and there are three different colors. And with 49.1% ABV, why wouldn't it be non-chilled filtered? There's no problem of this actually getting any type of haze or Scottish mist, as Ralphie likes to say here. Put it on the label. So it says here, our neighboring harbor village of Portsoy inspires the deep maritime flavor of this richly peated single malt, matured in sherry, bourbon, and port casks. That's all the information we have here. Oh, in the front, there's a nice little slogan. It says, deep maritime waves of peated coastal character. Don't forget, Glenglassaugh now calls themselves the Coastal Malts. So you have the GG here, Glenglassaugh, and you have everything coastal. All right, so one thing I did not find out, which I would love to know, if you know, please tell me, where do they get their malt from? And the thing that I'm getting is this is not a, I'm going to call it 30 plus ppm. I have the feeling they're using a very similar strategy like they do in Highland Park. Highland Park does their peated malting themselves. They buy the non-peated, and they usually do a percentage of 30 to 70. They don't have malting floors there at Glenglassaugh. At least the last time I read, they didn't. And I think they do buy peated malt and unpeated. And I do have the suspicion that they mix it 50-50 or even a little bit less of the peat. I would have guessed this is like 18% ppm. All right, I don't even know what the Talisker ppm is. All right, colors. This does have a little bit of that telltale caramel coloring in there. And this looks fairly authentic, if you ask me. So I hope Brown-Forman distilled the majority of this. Maybe some of it was distilled by Billy Walker before they bought the distillery 7 years ago. I don't know. All right, on the nose. As I said, I don't get a wave. I do not get a tsunami. I do not get a tidal wave of peat. I get a little bit of peat. And the whole time I'm trying to figure out what type of peat. I just did a video a couple days ago of the Ben Romach contrast peat smoke. I got immediately that smokehouse. As if you had those hams hanging up in the smokehouse, like a barbecue type of smoke. Here I did not get that. Here I got more of an earthy type of smoke, like freshly plowed soil type of smoke. I do get berries. I do get a little bit of the port and sherry in here. And I get vanilla. So if I read the official notes, it's going to be here. The Highland whiskey is maritime and rich with tropical fruits, dark sherry, spicy notes of licorice, and seaweed add spice. I've tried many different types of seaweed in my life. I've actually had Irish whiskey, which has been burnt in casks that had burnt seaweed in there. Currach. If you ever eat sushi, seaweed, no problem. There's so many different types of seaweed. It's just like basically saying a wood smoke. What type of wood smoke? And that's all those different types of wood smokes we can have there. So I would not, I mean, their tasting notes are pretty crazy, all right? Licorice, no. Seaweed, no. Spice, yeah. Tropical fruit, dark sherry, a little bit of sherry. All right, so over here, the Talisker Portsoy. It's thinner. I don't know if I can actually say that on the nose, but it will be on the palate. It's more of the caramel moment, funny as that is, and a tiny, tiny little bit more industrial. So Diageo versus Brown-Forman. So not the Diageo is the biggest producer of spirits in the world. Brown-Forman is not that far behind, especially with a lot of the other stuff they make, like Jack Daniels and Woodford Reserve and so on. All right, let's try this. 49.1. Why? Why 49.1? Can someone tell me another whiskey that is a core range product that has 49.1 ABV? I don't know of any. I know 49, I know 50, I know 50.5, 101, Wild Turkey's been doing it for forever, but 49.1, that is unique. So, cheers. This is a crafted whiskey. What do I mean by that? This was, I'm going to use the word expertly, marriage together of different casks. This could have been almost the level of execution of someone from Japan. Now, Rachel Berry is not Japanese. Rachel Berry did a great job here. Rachel Berry did a very, very good job here on the Sand End. Rachel Berry, in my opinion, she worked with what she had and tried to save what she had with a 12-year-old. They priced it the cheapest, get rid of the product. They didn't make it. Billy Walker didn't make it. It's not great. Do something with it. I would have put a heavier finish on this, to be honest, and tried to mask more of that flavor that was there, but that's okay. Here, we don't have to mask anything. This is very nicely done. This has a perfect balance of a little bit of, they talk about triacle. That is a sugar syrup concentrate. For us in America, the closest thing we usually have is maple syrup without the maple. So like a corn syrup moment. They talked about here the Glenglassaugh Portsoy. It sits on the tongue with a full-bodied profile. That's almost impossible to translate into German, but it's true. It does have a mouth-filling moment. It combines dark chocolate, more of a milk chocolate than a dark chocolate, fermented soy. I'm not really sure about that. Soya, soybeans. I'm not sure about fermented soy. Stewed mangoes. No, not mangoes, but stewed fruits. So think of a fruit cocktail a little bit. There might be a piece of mango in there, but it's not predominantly mango. And a pinch of sea salt, which I don't get. I don't get the salt here at all. But hey, that's their theme, coastal malts. It has to be the word salt in every single description here. We have the seaweed, we have the pinch of salt, and we have the maritime notes. So they added that everywhere, and they're suggesting it. The whiskey has a medium length finish. I think it has one of the longest finishes of the three, actually. And it leaves maritime notes with a hint of peat smoke. This is not a peat bomb. This is not a peat monster. This is not a peat whatever. This is very subtly peated, and I like. So I'm not a fan of Ardbeg. I'm not a fan of Lafroig. I'm not a fan of Coila. I'm not a fan of Kilchoman. Anytime you get 30 plus ppm, usually I'm going, why? I don't want to lick an ashtray. But this has just enough peat that it supports everything in there. It's almost hard for me to actually say these words, but I almost like this better than I do the South End, and I like the South End. All right, it's not like a B whiskey. It's a C plus whiskey. All right, but it's very, very excellently done. Well done, actually. The 49.1%, perfectly balanced. I understand. Now let's go over here. Can I save 15 euros and just say I don't need that? I can go over here to the Talisker Port Reed. I don't have the sherry influence, but I do have the bourbon and I do have the port. Cheers. Hello, old friend. I really do like the Port Reed from Talisker, maybe the favorite one I have at the moment. The 18, prohibitively expensive. The Port Reed is still okay. You have the sweetness, but it's thinner. This has much better mouthfeel, much better viscosity. You have the sweetness in the beginning, a little bit of the peat at the end. Do I like it better than this? Well, value for money is more up my alley with, at the moment, 38, 35 euros still. This, 55 euros. So that's the problem. Taste, C+, value for money, C, almost minus. All right, it's not a C minus minus, it's a C minus. No age statement, but hey, with peated whiskeys, they don't have to be an age statement. Usually, I do like it when there is a age statement, but that's all right. So would I prefer this whiskey to be 45 euros? Yes, so it's a C, C plus whiskey for the taste, C minus C whiskey for the value for money. Beautiful bottle, very, very nice. If you have not tried the new, if you have not had the opportunity to try the new Glenglassaugh range, start with the 12, get it over with, go over the Sand End, enjoy that. But if you like a little bit of a peat in your whiskey, think old blends, a White Horse, other old blends where the peat moment did not dominate, but it supported. That's what this feels like. That's what it tastes like. That's what this is, the experience. I really, really like this. And I normally don't like peat as much as I thought I did. So this is still very, very nice. Value for money, absolute winner still. I would go for this every day. This would be something special, and I would treat other guests to it as well. So thank you very much for watching, liking, subscribing. The first question is, what is your favorite lightly peated single malt scotch with a fruity moment? Could be sherry, could be port, could be Madeira, could be anything else. Second question, what is your favorite Glenglassaugh product at the moment? Could have been the Tuatha, could have been the Evolution, could have been the Revolution, could be the 12 or the Sand End, or now then the Portsoy. But what do you like the best from Glenglassaugh? Thank you very much for watching, liking, subscribing, and see you real soon back here on this channel for new whiskeys you may not have ever heard of or very difficult to get. Bye-bye.